That's personal, Adam. We'll leave that until after the show. Hi there. You're listening to Unnatural Selection, the show about newsy type stuff and things. My name is George.
My name is Tom.
And my name is Adam.
And we are Unnatural Selection. Make sure you visit us at our salubrious home on the web, unnaturalshow.com. It's a show about news and politics that occasionally strays into humorous material.
You're really dying on this hill, but all right. No, I'm not going to open the next. No, that's bait. You're baiting me every. Nope.
Speaking of dying on hills.
Republicans are split over the administration's handling the Epstein files. I'm not taking the bait.
Speaking of dying on hills, Trump's fans. Now, Trump got, for the second straight week in a row, we are talking about Donald Trump and his appearance or non-appearance on the Epstein list.
Yeah. Epstein list. There is no list. Right. What are you talking about?
The list. Okay, so for those who are tracking the story, everyone in the universe agreed that the Epstein client list existed. People in Trump's administration, like, director of the FBI, Kash Patel.
Where's the Google Doc, George?
Adam, just let me get it out. The deputy director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, formerly, podcaster, conspiracy theorist shills for the Trump administration. People like Pam Bondi, who in an interview in April of this year, when questioned about the Epstein client list, she said, "It's on my desk, ready for review." And she says, no. I was referring to just the Epstein file, even though you asked me about the list, and that was the question to which I responded. All of the, JD Vance was on, what's that, the goatee guy's name, the podcast, not Joe Rogan, the other one, Theo Von. He was on Theo Von's podcast, and Theo Von said, "Release the list." And then JD Vance was like, "No, seriously, we should release the Epstein list." And they're all like, ha, we're all buddies. We're all buddy old pals here. Anyway, the list existed, and then, as Shane Gillis says, it deleted itself, and we should all move on from it as a country and never think about it again. And now, the new line of attack from the Trump administration in this past week, as the scandal drags on, limping and bleeding into its third week, the line from the Trump administration is, okay, yes, the list does exist, but it was written by the Obamas and Biden, and so it's like it's not trustworthy. And so if you believe the list, you're an idiot, you're stupid. That's a quote, stupid, and I don't want your support. You're weak, and I don't want you to support me if you still believe this is an issue.
So they said last week that there was no list.
Yeah.
This week there's a list. But if you look at the list, you're an idiot.
If you're not happy with how the Trump administration has so eloquently dealt with this crisis, then you're an idiot, and he doesn't want your support.
Okay.
So here's Donald Trump saying things loudly on the White House lawn over the sound of a helicopter, which, as audio engineers worldwide would assure you, is the perfect way to consume news from the president.
Your daughter-in-law said that there should be transparency in the Epstein case. Do you agree with her, sir?
The Attorney General's handled that very well. She's really done a very good job, and I think that when you look at it, you'll understand that. I would like to see that also, but I think the Attorney General, the credibility is very important, and you want credible evidence for something like that, and I think the Attorney General has handled it very well.
How many more things? The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you on that.
What? On the
DOJ and FBI
On what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein, on Epstein, of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden information. We went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
He just went through a greatest hits. Like he just turned that into a conspiracy greatest hits.
Yeah, he's literally playing
honestly
Freebird.
Remarkable.
In the mind map, he's literally brought a mind map up.
Yeah.
And he's just gone through and said the words.
You know what
on
it
the mind
was?
map.
It's literally because he mentioned Comey, and then he's like, Comey, Russia, Russia, Russia. You know, like it's literally just word association. He's like, that list was written up by Comey, James Comey, the FBI, Russiagate, PP tape. Don't say PP. Hoax. It was all a hoax. What else? He's literally just doing like free play word association on camera on the White House lawn as president.
Meanwhile, Carolyn Levitt, that's the name, isn't it? The press
secretary. Yeah, correct.
She's just standing next to him, looking at him, and she goes from being like, yes, and then sort of starts looking at the ground, and is like, what?
Oh, what have you done now, Carolyn? What have you done? Oh, boy.
What am I gonna say?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to explain this later.
Yeah, literally.
Just unreal. The idea is like, there is no list, and now there is a list, but it could be fake. And so clearly what he's setting up, like, I don't mean to like preempt the findings of what I'm sure will be a rigorous and impartial investigation into the Epstein situation. But it really does seem like Donald Trump is either sure or is concerned that his name is clearly on this list, should it exist, and is clearly setting up a predicate for discounting the information that inevitably turns up when this list does surface. He's saying, and it's all fake, and there's a lot of, it was all written by Comey, it was all a hoax. They tried to take me down with it. So like the logic of this conspiracy now is the Obama administration. So the Obama administration was over before Jeffrey Epstein died. So I don't see how Obama could possibly have anything to do with it unless they were, I guess, aware of Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes and the sort of weird pardon, sweetheart pardon deal that he got, and then said nothing about it, even though, the Hillary campaign was running against him in 2016, and I guess buried it for some reason, didn't want to use it against him, waited for him to become president. He was president for a full term. They ran against him again in 2020, decided not to use that information against him, waited for him to run a third time in 2024, the Democrats, still didn't use it against him. This information that they wrote and had ready to go, waited for him to become president, and then, and only then, still didn't use it. They waited for him to bring it up.
Then and only then handed it to his attorney general, hoping that would have an effect. George, I know you say that
flawless
in the sense
logic.
of how ridiculous
No, it's perfect. Tom, it's perfect. It makes complete sense.
I mean, it does for the modern Democratic Party.
Well,
only they could be handed such a smoking
useless
gun.
God damn it! Damn, we're back. God damn it, he's right.
I love how you're trying so hard to believe the logic in the and assuming and trying to join the dots. You're trying to join the dots.
You know what it is?
So hard. It's like you're stretching the universe to get from one dot. You're like Spider-Man or fucking Captain America trying to get the chopper.
Trying to hold the chopper onto the building. Yeah,
that's how hard you're trying to join the dots right now.
You know how like large language models have an option for like reasoning, and it's like you click the option for like reasoning or extra logic, and it'll like think extra hard about the response before it gives that back to you. That's my brain
burns
always.
More trees.
It's just my brain
burns
always
more trees to do
burns
it.
more trees, more bottles of water. It's just like an extra tree into the furnace in the Amazon. That's my brain. My brain is always stuck on reason, and that's why I have anxiety. That's why that is that is the reason.
Let me tell you. Let's be real. He is not laying any groundwork. He's brain farted that with a word association mind map, and now they will pivot to try and cover, to try and manage his word salad.
But let's think about it for 2 seconds. If you had any, say for example, you were not a pedophile that had sex with sex trafficked people by Jeffrey Epstein, one might wonder, is this the response that you would give if you were definitely not a pedophile? I don't know. That's an open question. Like, I feel like if you were not guilty of something, this is not the response that you would get.
So the other big news this week was it the Wall Street Journal or one of the Murdoch tabloids?
Yeah, it was the Wall Street Journal. Yeah.
Yeah, published what was allegedly a birthday letter that Donald Trump wrote to Epstein.
Where he sketched out like a view of the Manhattan cityscape, and it was like a very personal message about his like fucking good friend and how fucking awesome pals they were. Oh. And Donald Trump
I thought it was a drawing of a naked woman.
It was.
There's a separate
drawing
one.
of a naked woman, and he said, "I don't draw."
Yes,
and
but then
everyone said, "Here's all the proof.
Here's all the evidence."
Drawn.
Yes, and here's all the evidence of Donald Trump donating whatever sketches of him drawing the Manhattan skyline to whatever for charity auctions and things. Sorry, I got it the other way around. So there was the naked woman that he drew, and then he says, "I've never drawn anything in my life." And then people are like, "Here are all these signed Donald Trump things that you've clearly drawn."
Anyway, so apparently it was a typed letter, and then at the end of it, he signed off with something. And I'm going to paraphrase the shit out of this because I haven't got the article in front of me, but it was something like, "May the secrets persist." We wish you all the secrets in the world, or something. There's something about a secret. Someone else look it up. Which is a very weird sign-off message. And we'll find out what that exact quote was in a second. But since then, some of the excuses have been, I don't draw. Donald Trump doesn't actually type things. If you know him, he works with a Sharpie. Everything's in black Sharpie. So obviously,
I was going to say, his handwriting is distinct.
The outline of a naked woman allegedly frames typewritten text which reads, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret."
That's right, yes.
I mean, really.
So Trump has now sued the Wall Street Journal or News Corp and Rupert Murdoch over this. So
good luck, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't believe I'd never thought I'd be on Rupert Murdoch's side on anything.
I will never I will never
Yeah.
forgive this administration for making me want to side with the worst people alive just because they are against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Speaking of the worst people
my
alive.
enemy is my friend.
Speaking of the worst people alive, Nick Fuentes. So you might remember Nick Fuentes as the Your Body, My Choice guy who's famously was drinking liberal tears after Trump won in the 2024 election because he's a gigantic piece of shit. So he's a white supremacist. He's kind of openly alt-right, white supremacist, kind of neo-Nazi type character. He's also famous for having dinner with one Donald J. Trump and Kanye West. Right before the election. Yep. You might remember that was a big story. Kanye West, yes, the very same Kanye West who was selling SWAT sticker t-shirts and saying, "I'm a Nazi." That Kanye West.
Former presidential candidate Kanye West.
Former totally real presidential candidate Kanye West. So Nick Fuentes obviously has been one of Trump's biggest supporters for a long time. And it's emerged this week that, presumably that is no longer the case after this message that he recorded and published.
And now he says, if you're not on board with the Epstein cover-up, I don't want your support. You're a weakling. Fuck you. Fuck you. You suck. You are fat. You are a joke. You are stupid. You are not funny. You are not as smart as you think you are. You are, and honestly, and if you watch my show, I've been very critical. I've never been this far. This just goes to show this entire thing has been a scam. When we look back on the history of populism in America, we are going to look back on the MAGA movement as the biggest scam in American history. And the liberals were right. The MAGA supporters were had. They were. And now...
Yeah, that's horseshoe theory in effect right there. It's becoming so alt-right that you become a Democrat. Wrap all the way back around.
Yeah, you've gone so far, accidentally based Nick Fuentes. Holy cow.
I will
that was
never
strong.
forgive.
Also,
I will never forgive the Trump administration for making me agree with Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes on a weekly basis. I cannot stand that they have made me do this.
Now Rupert Murdoch.
Yes.
This is an example of what's been happening, obviously, over the last 2 weeks, is that the MAGA movement's effectively splitting down the middle or dividing perhaps in thirds, depending on who you talk to.
So asexually self-replicating, I think.
Yes.
yeah.
And I think it's interesting. Like, it's sort of this is an interesting example in terms of the general timeline of a Trump drama. Normally, the timeline for a Trump drama is like max 3 days,
couple of days,
4 days.
But by the time we get it on a Sunday, it's already cooled off.
Yeah. And there's
by the
been
time
two
that
other
we talk
ones.
about it, right?
This is interesting because in the fire hose of shit, this has persisted for now 2 weeks. Probably will keep persisting.
2.5. Yeah, it's been like 2.5 weeks. It's been quite a durable Trump scandal, right?
And
I
find that very interesting
stuck with the populace.
And the more you keep trying to kill it, or the more they keep trying to kill it, I imagine the more fire they're going to get.
There's so many memes, Adam.
Yeah.
When all of these popular creators, Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson,
Alex Jones.
Joe Rogan's even turned against
Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz. These were the guys that were giving him fucking hot stone massages, with their interviews.
Leading up to the election.
These were the guys. These guys were the biggest, most ardent Trump supporters. They built the broalition that brought him to power, right? So if all of these people are turning on you and criticizing you, and that is an ongoing effort from now on, to the extent to which we've got reporting here from Politico that says this is the most effective wedge that has ever been levied against Donald Trump in terms of how it has split his voter base.
Honestly, incredible.
It's incredible. It's the most incredible wedge. He's been hoisted on his own pedophile. The guy, I've never seen anything like this. So
yeah, it's quite amazing. It's exactly that. It's because it involves a pedophile scandal.
Yes.
The one thing that these people really seem to have morals about, everything else.
And it's so obviously self-evident that he's lying about this. Like, even his most ardent supporters are like, okay, but clearly there's some sort of list.
The list exists. What you mentioned,
and it doesn't exist, and now it does exist, but it was written by Obama. Like, even the dumbest fucking room temperature IQ Trump supporters are going, I don't know about that. That seems a bit dumb.
and like what you said last week, that it's not that necessarily maybe Epstein had a document labeled "My Pedophile Client List," but more you can go through the evidence and assemble one.
Yes,
from his connections and clients.
We know. we know this is stuff that's public record. We know that he performed human trafficking. Ghislaine is sitting in prison for the next 20 years for facilitating that human trafficking. She is in jail now because of that. There's allegations from, I think it was Virginia Joffrey or one of the victims on tape saying...
Oh, Guffrey. Yeah, Virginia
Guffrey, sorry. Saying on tape that, during an interview that she recorded where she said she went into the house and right as you go past the front door, there's like a room on the right-hand side, this big house in Manhattan, filled with like dudes sitting in front of CCTV cameras, and the CCTV cameras are looking into bedrooms and bathrooms. That's her testimony, right? Yeah. I don't know if it's true. I wasn't there, but you've got people on record saying the house was wired up, right? You also have prominent people of the elite, such as Prince Andrew, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, who are known to be associates of him. Prince Andrew had an allegation against him that he slept with an underage person that he met through Jeffrey Epstein at this house. So we know...
There's a photo.
Yeah, there's a photo of them together at the house. So we know fucked up... this is all on record. We know fucked up shit was happening at that house. Now, is it entirely possible that the guy just loved being a weekend warrior with his human trafficking and just never, pleasure in business, never... I just love hanging out with Prince Andrew, not doing anything fucked up. And... and then like on the weekends I do all my pedophilia stuff and never the twain shall meet. Yeah, is that possible? It seems, it seems implausible, but like, I guess, sure, it's possible. But we know that this guy was embroiled with a bunch of powerful elite people, and there's a number of contacts with Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. I think it's like 7 different times they've been photographed together, which is all public record. We've got, Trump saying on record that they've been best friends for 15 years and he thought, he's a great person and he loves women as much as I do. Some of them are even on the younger side. So it's like all of that is a matter of public record. So to then turn around and go, if you believe any of this, you're stupid. It's like...
Yeah, if you believe my words and deeds, you're stupid. Yeah, I mean, never a truer thing has been said of Donald Trump.
Yeah. I mean, yes, he is correct, but it's not necessarily the best way to win friends and influence people, right?
No.
Like if you think the basket of deplorables comment from Hillary, caught fire, this is like, he's calling his own supporters stupid. Weak.
Yeah.
Idiots. If you believe this bullshit, you're stupid. You're an idiot. It's like, I understand he's not up for re-election again because he's term limited, right? But like other Republicans are.
For now.
And even Republicans in the Congress, like what's his name? The guy who looks at his son's porn usage, the Speaker of the House.
He's got a really bland white man name.
Mike Johnson.
Like Mike Johnson. Yeah.
Mike Johnson is like calling on the Trump administration to appoint a special prosecutor to be like, we need some independent person to look into this now because all the Republicans are fucking freaking out about this, going, we're going to get slaughtered at the midterms. I know you don't care, Trump. You're safe for 4 years. Who cares? But like, we're going to get fucking crushed. And then as soon as they win the House, the Democrats will get subpoena power. They'll start doing fucking independent investigations. They'll start, starting investigations and hauling people before Congress.
Will they, though?
Oh, the Democrats will absolutely
Democrats will do that.
Democrats will make hay while the sun is shining. This is the most successful the Democrats have ever been. And they've barely needed to do anything at all. They're just like, what's with the Epstein? They're just like retweeting stuff, Joe Rogan going, what's with the Epstein list? And they're just getting really engagement off the charts. Like,
it's really a Democrat's dream. They don't have to do anything and they're winning.
Yes.
Like that's essentially been their strategy.
Anyway, so the polling. Sorry, go on, Adam.
I was going to say, my favorite thing around all this is the theory of that he was
an Israeli spy.
Epstein was an agent or an asset that was being run or blackmailed by Mossad. And therefore, by extension, this is why everyone's trying to cover it up, is that everyone's
implicated because he was running some massive blackmail operation. It's entirely possible, like, if that is true, that allegation about the CCTV in his house and he's having, like, crazy sex parties, doesn't even need to be underage stuff. You could easily assemble compromising material on prominent people if they're just doing drugs and having extramarital sex in your house and you record it and say, I'm going to release this file on you unless you do X, Y, Z. I mean, is it the craziest, theory? Maybe that is how he got rich initially, as he blackmailed all these rich and powerful people into, I don't know. Like Ghislaine Maxwell, her dad is reported to have some association with spies, and Robert Maxwell. His story is actually a whole separate interesting story, but like definitely seemed to have some sort of connection to spy networks and all this sort of stuff that is like real and documented, assumed to be true. And
this is the kind of thing that everyone's
apparently he did have like a former Israeli prime minister over to his house as a guest. But it's like, but they also had like Prince Andrew and other rich and powerful people. It's like, I don't think it's necessarily.
No,
I don't think it's indicative of anything necessarily, but you could see how someone could find their way to that as an explanatory theory for what's been going on, right? Like
whether it's Mossad or Russia or whoever, or just a bunch of the mafia. I don't know. Like someone could have got a hold of that material.
It could be
somehow.
some sort of influence. Like I'm not convinced either way of any of that. I don't think there's any hard evidence to suggest that is the case.
No, this is just an example of like the internet sort of extrapolating the conspiracy because this is what effectively it is.
And it really has
a conspiracy theory.
Split the whole coalition along like what kind of fascist are you? Are you a pro-Israel fascist or are you an anti-Israel fascist? And that seems to be the Israel thing is like the lines upon which this whole MAGA shit fight have been drawn, because you look at Tucker Carlson, you look at Nick Fuentes, obviously white supremacist, anti-Jew, Tucker Carlson, very much, sort of anti-Israel and, anti-war, anti what's going on in Gaza, all that sort of stuff. It's been a real split down the MAGA middle. But so you've got people like loony Laura Loomer saying like, I love the president, but like he needs to appoint a special prosecutor. This is fucking like, does he really expect everyone to just believe this? Like prominent people within the Trump echo chamber are turning on him as a result of this. And you're seeing that play out in the polling on the base. So this story from Politico.
The memes.
Oh, the memes. The memes are thick and fast. The memes do not stop.
Yeah.
I live for the memes. Republicans are split over the Trump administration's handling of the Epstein files. And split is almost like a two-kinder way of describing it, because basically everyone hates it. A Wednesday Quinnipiac poll showed Republicans divided, with 40% saying that they approved of the way the Trump administration is handling the Epstein file. Love it. Great work. Keep going. You're doing great. While 36% said they disapproved and 24% did not give an opinion. I don't know. How is he handling it? I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't really heard anything.
GOP voters were similarly divided in a Thursday Reuters Ipsos poll, with 35% approving, 29% disapproving, and the rest either saying that they weren't sure or admitting a response. This is my favorite one, though. Americans across the board are dissatisfied with Trump's approach to the Epstein case. Only 17% of all respondents to the Quinnipiac poll said that they approved of the administration's handling of the Epstein files, compared to 63% who said they disapproved, 20% not offering an opinion. There's another one. Ipsos Reuters reflected similar numbers, with 17% of respondents saying that they approved of Trump's handling of the situation. 17%, 1 out of 5. Right?
Yeah, wow, and that similar numbers from both polls. So like there's two different pollsters getting similar results.
Only 3% of adults in a CNN SSRS poll said that they were satisfied with the amount of information the government has released thus far on the case. So Americans at large think he's completely full of shit, and even Republicans, and these are the ones who have been with him through everything. Think of every crazy fucking thing that has happened with Trump since 2015, since day one when he said Mexicans were rapists, trying to bomb a hurricane, the pussy tape, present day. They've been through all of that. The ice raids, the mass deportations,
January
everything.
6th.
January 6th, everything. Every crazy shit that's happened on the news for the last 10 years. They've been through all of that, and they're going, great, good stuff. And then this happens, and then half of them are like, well, I don't know about that.
That's it.
I don't know.
You've also got the religious aspect to it as well. So obviously the whole, as we said, people really don't like pedophiles.
He was adjudicated to be found liable for rape, and had to pay E. Jean Carroll, I think it was like $34 million prior to the 2024 election.
And they stuck.
With him. I'm pro the rape guy. I'm pro the guy who said he would walk in on Miss Teen USA pageants and look in on underage girls as they were undressing, because he was the owner of the pageant and he could do whatever he wanted. That's on record. And they're like, perfect, love it. Oh, but you don't want Joe Biden. He's old. I'm pro the rapist, but I don't want an old guy in there. This guy's a very youthful 36 months younger.
Yeah, no, I only want an old man as president if they're also a rapist.
Yeah, exactly. And there's been this weird questions about Donald Trump's health this week. Lots of photos coming out of like, does it look like his ankles are swollen? And
swollen ankle and a bruise?
And like bruise. Yeah, clearly something on his hand that's been covered up with makeup. It could be bruising. It could be some kind of like
really terribly covered up. I'd like to add.
Clotting. It looked so obviously.
Your stylist.
Yeah,
it looked awful. It was the complete wrong tone.
Yeah. So clearly, like something is up with this fucking old guy whose brain is going to pancake mush. And it's just unreal that this is the guy that people are like, we will die for you. And now they're like, 40% of us will die for you as a result of this last couple of weeks. Like, it's just crazy.
That being said, the world does go on, and Trump still has to make policy, even if that policy is not great. But one of the things that he loves a backflip at the moment as well. And one of the things he's backflipped on. is
Because look, I'm going to denaturalize Rosie O'Donnell because she left America because of the trans stuff and she was worried about her kid. Is anyone buying this? No, you're still focused on the Epstein thing? Okay.
Okay.
Oh, what else have we got? What else? It's like a comedian doing an open mic. Open mic is just what else? What else?
List.
What do we got in the news? He's just on his phone. What do we got? Oh, what do we got? Immigrants? How do we feel? We're still on the immigrant thing? No? Okay. All right. Let's keep going. What else?
But he's turns out he's not very happy with Putin at the moment, who he previously thought was, he'd have a good relationship with, and he would end the war in Ukraine on day one or whatever it was. Some stupid statement.
Oh yeah, in 24 hours.
And,
all right, 100 days.
And he's not been negotiating in good faith. And he fooled everyone. He fooled Obama. He fooled Biden. He didn't fool me. And it's like, you were the only one who thought this guy was negotiating in good faith. Everyone since George W. Bush, who looked and said he saw that his soul and thought it was wonderful. Everyone since George W. Bush has had a really accurate read on what a fucking sociopath Vladimir Putin is. And Donald Trump is today years old, apparently, when he realized that he keeps saying that he's going to agree to ceasefire deals and then doesn't. And once you do that 1, 2, 3, 5 times, apparently even Donald Trump can figure out that the guy's not negotiating in good faith. But,
This guy's a bit dodgy.
Hey, wait a minute.
It looks like he's lying.
Yeah, wait a minute. He said we had a very productive discussion and then he bombed a city that evening. No, that's not very good. I don't think this Vladimir Putin guy is very trustworthy at all. Ex-KGB agent Vladimir Putin. That's so weird. He seemed like such a nice guy on the phone.
So what's been happening in Ukraine lately is that the Russians have started a kind of, I guess, summer offensive. And as part of that has been the most intense aerial bombardment of Ukrainian cities since the start of the conflict. And like even just a month ago, the US was saying, well, we're not necessarily going to send you any supplies. We're going to pause military aid. They paused it when he got in. Then they were going to pause it again a month ago. And now the last week they've gone, no, we're actually going to give you Patriot missiles. But what we're going to do is, and a bunch of other stuff as well, but we're going to send it to NATO, and then NATO is going to send it to you, but NATO's going to pay for it. NATO's going to pay us for the weapons. Lockheed Martin's getting a great deal out of this, and other weapons manufacturers,
whoever, yeah,
and they're going to send it all to NATO. NATO is then going to fly it across the border to Ukraine and give them the Patriot missiles and other defense systems as well. Australia actually just delivered, I think it's about 50-ish M1 Abrams tanks. So,
you're right. It is manufactured by Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. There you go.
The Patriot systems it's a really fancy anti-air system, basically. Which is probably one of the more sophisticated ones that could actually take down things like hypersonic missiles and that kind of thing. So it's just kind of wild that he's gone from, we're going to pause aid within the space of 3 weeks, going to pause aid, to now actually, no, we're going to give them a whole heap of shit that we probably could have given them.
I mean, not give. He's kind of gone from, no, we're not going to support them at all, to we're going to allow them to buy something.
Yeah, but it's kind of like like if NATO is buying it on their behalf, like NATO would have happily done that anyway. It's like the whole thing with all of these weapons manufacturers is that it's all kind of, it's companies. Companies doing deals. But at the end of the day, because of the nature of the purchases of these items, the customers can only ever really be governments. So they really just become proxies for governments to do deals with one another. And who owes whom for what as part of this arrangement is really what defense policy is all about. It's really just saying, because a lot of times, when the US does a deal, when they, give arms to Ukraine or something like that for the purposes of defending themselves, depending on how that's structured, it's not as simple as we, the US, send you Patriot missiles. It's like, we, the US, will lend you Ukraine money, and then you can buy those Patriot missiles from us, and that goes to Lockheed Martin, which is good for the country. A lot of these agreements are structured in really weird, circuitous ways in order to prop up defense industry spending more than they are doing. Why does the US government have an interest in propping up Lockheed Martin obviously, well, it's jobs, it's it's money in their economy as opposed to someone else's economy. It's like it's very yes, it's a company, but it's also still very closely tied to the state, right? So
it's the military-industrial complex. But no, look,
it's just another way of structuring that agreement, right? So the US is giving them
until now.
Right?
Yeah, up until now, there have been direct, effectively donations. So the weapons going to Ukraine have been at the US taxpayers' expense. So this would be, a way of, I guess.
But money's
not paying
fungible,
directly.
right? So it's like if they sell you Patriots and you sell us something else, then you know what I mean? Like it's not like it's necessarily like some great business deal. Like obviously that is the way that Trump is wanting to present
it. They've got the minerals deal that has now been agreed to and that's on the table.
And that's totally real. So yeah.
Well, I mean, they signed a piece of paper that's saying they had access to it or something. So I don't know. But yeah, just like crazy backflips there again. Trump finally realizing that Putin's literally
and 6 months ago they're in the Oval Office yelling at Zelensky saying, "You haven't got the cards. I've got the cards. You're being very rude." All this sort of shit. Trump and JD Vance going, "Did you even say thank you?" And now within 6 months, they've done a complete reversal and they're sending Patriot. They're doing the exact same, more or less exactly the same fucking policy that Biden had during his entire administration with regards to Ukraine, which was the US sending them missiles and sending them arms and equipment. And it's so funny. Like
difference the pedophile scandal makes.
It's just it's just unreal the way that the about face that he can pull off, and no one, all of these anti-war isolationist people just pack up their bat and ball and just go home and just go, oh well, I'm going to trust my friends in the administration about it. That's what what's that Turning Point's shithead Charlie Kirk. So I'm just going to trust, even though it's completely opposite to what we wanted, I'm just going to trust my friends in the administration over this. Like
establishment, you always know what's best.
Yes, that's classic fourth estate stuff is just it's just really just holding nothing holding nothing to power. What is it? Truth to power? Yeah, just holding nothing at all to power. Yeah, speaking nothing at all to power. Just amazing how they can just abandon all their principles with regards to any kind of policy. And then as soon as Jeffrey Epstein comes up, everyone's just like, I'll fucking kill you. Like, I'll fucking have you, Logshanks. Like, it's so weird that this is the one issue that just galvanizes after everything all of these cunts have been through. That's the one thing, the hill on which they will all die. So wild.
There's always, there's something's, there's always something that's like more important than, the rise of fascism in the United States, and that is the removal of pedophiles.
The list. I really didn't think that there was anything that could split his base like this. Like, I really did almost buy into the superhero kind of logic of they will just be with him until the end. There's nothing he could do. Like he said, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and all my people would still support me. I really did believe that for a long time. It's just like, oh, they like, this is just a death cult. They will follow him until the end. And they will drink the Kool-Aid. But hang on, were you telling me that Jeffrey Epstein, we know that he was on the plane and nothing happened? That seems crazy.
Yeah.
7 times?
Well, speaking of crazy.
7. 7 seems like a lot.
4, 5.
Well, 7 is a lot for particular parties down in Tasmania. If we want to jump over to Australian politics, because they had their election recently, and it's not looking good.
The Tasmanians.
Tasmanians. Yes.
Yeah, down in Tasmania, we've talked over the past a few weeks about scandals in Tassie involving football stadiums. We almost got to the one about the chocolate fountain that was promised and was denied to them. All amazing, important stories. Well, no one's won yet. So that's always huge news in an election.
For journalists, the only thing better for journalists with an election than a result is no result, because then they can keep fucking typing. Like, oh, we don't know what the result's going to be. Is it going to be this way? We thought we were only going to be furiously, breathlessly reporting this up until election day. Turns out the breathless reporting can continue.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a race to a minority government, essentially, with the Liberal Party having 14 seats as of recording on Sunday, the 20th of July. The ALP with 9, the Greens with 5, and Other with 4. So
how
what
many
I
did the
think's
Liberals
amazing
have?
is
Say that again.
they have 14, according to ABC.
And Labor
ABC
has
data.
9, and the Greens
9.
have
5, and Other has 4, and they need 18 to win.
And
so
yet
the ALP
Labor would rather have
everyone.
a Liberal government than team up with the Greens. I find that so crazy making. They was like, we would rather be not in power. Thanks. Thanks very much.
Like, I find it so funny that both, because like I guess the big crux of an article here is that the leaders of both, like Labor and Liberal, so the current Liberal Premier Jeremy Rockliff, or until we get this discussion, until they decide, and Dean Winter, who we've talked about previously on the show, and their scandals, or like their tomfoolery. They're both talking to the crossbench to try and form minority government. Like, Dean, mate, you need everyone. Like, he would, to get from 9 to 18,
doesn't seem
you
likely.
need 9 vote. You need 9 seats. So that's all 5 Greens and then all 4 of Other. And I'm assuming in that Other category, there's some howdy doos. Okay, so how are you gonna get?
Hey, Tom, they're all Tasmanians for context. So there's always going to be some howdy doos.
So what the best part about this is, so they went to an election to
get a mandate from the people.
No conference, get a mandate from the people. And the people basically voted back in.
And the people voted with a resounding... They voted with a resounding...
It's exactly the same makeup as the previous fucking parliament.
And the people spoke at him, and the people voted, and they spoke with a clear, resounding voice, and they voted with a unanimous
Yeah.
I think Tassie just loves having elections. This is what, the 4th in 7 years?
They can't get enough of that
like-
democracy sausage. That's what it is.
I think
Oh, it's not 4th, but it's like the 2nd or 3rd.
There's something in the waters down here.
So previously there was the Jackie Lambie network held like 3 seats. They've all gone and they've been taken up by either other independents or various members of the other parties. But in terms of the actual split, it's very similar. Now, the Liberals actually got the most of the popular vote. They actually increased their vote from the last election. So the Liberals,
so it seems obvious to me,
went
that
up by 6% or something.
They're going to negotiate with the crossbench and form government.
Labor's-
Right? Like, they seem to be in the first place for that, right?
This is the thing. This is where it gets weird, and this is why it's Tasmania, right? It's great. So the Liberals, they increased their vote by 6%. Labor had their worst Tasmanian election since 1903 in terms of the popular vote. Could
not ride Anthony Albanese's coattails on this one, could they?
You love,
really...
if you want to talk about, and journalists love this, what's the path to victory? They broke it down last night on the election coverage, which was, by the way, the most spicy fucking thing I have ever seen
really? Why?
in terms of election coverage. Well, you've got Erica Betts, right, who was former Tasmanian senator, now a bloody Tasmanian state member who's also a fucking minister.
Far right wing
on one side.
Psycho, yep.
Yeah. You've got a Labor member and then the former Greens leader / Greens member on the panel. And they were just going at each other for the entire fucking night. It was like,
this here is emblematic of what is happening in the electorate. This is literally a fucking parable for what is happening in this state right now.
Labor would be like, they'd be like, well, obviously the mandate here is that we all need to listen and need to work. Tasmanians have told us that we all need to like work together and listen to each other. And then they were just like, yeah, but you fucking brought this election on because of the fucking stadium. Anyway.
And Jeremy Rockliff, the incumbent premier / Liberal leader, is saying like, this is a clear mandate for fucking stadium time. And it's like, I don't know about that, buddy. It seems like the opposite of a clear mandate because no one has convincingly won the amount of seats that they would need to hold
and
government.
This is the thing. Erica Betts for the whole night was like, well, we've had a 6% increase. Obviously, we've won. Like, this is any independent would have to see that and go, this is what the people want.
Except it's based on the number of seats that you have, Eric, which is not...
and Liberal, which is like sitting around next to him being like, no, that's not what's happened. What's actually happened here is in terms of if you break it down, in terms of what's in the other, so in the other, there's probably one from the Shooter and Fishers party. There's a guy called, I think he's Peter George. Another guy.
Peter George.
Forgotten the other guy's name.
I've got the list here.
So Peter George is basically like, let's get rid of corruption. Let's like tear down. Like let's bring accountability back. There's another guy who's like
that's sounds good.
What's his name? He's got wild hair.
I'm just going to guess based on that description. Craig Garland.
Craig Garland.
Craig Garland of the pictures here. Wild hair, I guess. Yep.
Like real sort of salt of the earth kind of guy. Environmentally has a lot of issues around the environment, but we'll flex on other particular issues. Erica Betts was like, oh, he's just a pseudo green, and they were like, no, he's not. He doesn't care about X. Anyway, so Alex Garland is one that's kind of an unknown. And then
Craig Garland. Alex Garland is the Oscar-winning screenwriter.
I was going to say, from
28 Days and Years Later
War.
And Civil War. Yeah.
Sorry, Craig Garland. There's Christy Johnson, who is the former mayor of Glenorchy, who previously guaranteed supply to the government, but basically was part of the no confidence vote against Rockliff.
Right, yeah.
Well, you'd think so. She's also very anti-stadium. Like, that's her main policy platform, right?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about a stadium mandate when the balance of power is very anti-stadium.
And there might be one
more. She got a huge swing in
massive
in
her
this
favor.
Election. Yeah, like 7.5% to her.
So there's that's kind of the four at the moment that they know of. There might be some others.
Well, hard to build a crossbench with that as the Liberals, you would think.
So basically, this is the thing. They went through the path to victory. Selena, who was Selena Bryan, is a reporter in Hobart that I used to know when I was a kid. But it's funny. I was watching the broadcast. I was like, I was drunk on a bus with that guy, and I was like, anyway. But
Tasmania is extremely small. We have to emphasize.
Adam's like, I was drunk on a bus with that guy, and that's Erica Betts.
and that's Jeremy Rockliff, the Premier.
Anyway, so like if you're the Liberals, okay, so let's say they get to like 15, best case scenario. They pick up the Shooter and Fishers party member.
Natural
that takes them to 6.
I imagine, yeah.
They've still got to get 2. So that means they've now got to try and flip Christie, or maybe they're not going to get Peter. What's his name? Peter George. Like they've just been slagging him off for the last like 2 months, and he even said last night on the telecast, he's like, yeah, great,
hey,
Eric. Thanks for
hey, buddy.
yeah.
Well, it's like Erica Betts is on the telecast looking at these numbers, and he's just slagging everyone off. It's like, bro, you need these
you need these people to guarantee supply if you're going to form government, right? Yeah.
Cassie O'Connor's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Erica Betts, who I think can be most charitably be described as the loosest of units.
Absolute psycho. Anyway, so yeah, like, I don't see. Yeah, Rockliff is like basically declared victory, but I don't know if he's going to be able to flip 2 more. He's not going to flip the Greens. He's not going to flip Labor.
He might
so
be
who's
the closest,
he going to flip?
but if he can't flip anyone, then he can't form government. And I guess if Labor refuse to side with the Greens because no, thank you, I don't want power, then I guess you have to go back to another election. Like if neither side can form government, what do you do?
They've still got to pass this fucking stadium legislation. So even if someone says, yeah, I'll guarantee supply, but I'm not going to support you on this issue, we end up back at square one.
At square one, yeah.
Yeah. It's
so yeah, the actual
I just
most
imagine
likely
the
thing,
AFL sitting back and just going, I think we just have to tell them neither of them can, like, we just need to take the fire truck away from the 2 arguing children. Like, we just cannot obviously have a stadium here because this is not going to work.
And because of the people that are in, it's actually a fairly progressive opposition and crossbench. So in theory, you could actually have Greens, Labor, that takes them to 15.
But Labor, there's nothing that Labor hates more.
3 crossbenchers.
Labor would rather be not in power than team up with the Greens. As much as the Labor hates the Liberals, they hate the left of their own side of politics more.
You could see the Labor candidate and Cassie O'Connor last night just being, and this is the Greens member, basically just being like, yeah, well, we'll need to really talk to each other. And then meanwhile, Dean Winter's like, no, fuck off. Like, we're not doing that.
Suck shit, cunts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's just nuts. Because, I think you're absolutely right, Adam, that the analysis of like the Liberal path to victory is slight at best.
Difficult.
And Labour needs to win over everyone else.
Yes, yeah.
Like, they're going to have to go again. You're going to have to go for round 5.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, you can always. I don't know. Like, basically, it's up to Jeremy Rockliff to be able to, or Dean Winter, to be able to go to the governor and be like, and this is the same as it works in federal parliament as well. But you've got to go to the governor and be like, I have the numbers. This is how I've got the numbers.
Go on, give us a government.
But like, if he can't,
do it.
If there's no written agreement or letter or something in writing to say that these people will support him, like, I don't know how they can go and.
Yeah, no, we got a government.
Just
give it. Yeah, just give it to us. Just give us a government. It'll be all right. Trust me.
Come on.
Anyway, so we've ended up after this $5.1 million this election cost in a state that's projected to have a $13 billion deficit in the next 12 months or next 2 years or something.
Victoria sees $13 billion deficit and laughs in hundreds of billions of dollars worth of deficit. Hilarious.
The difference being is there's
the limbs we wouldn't chop off to only have $13 billion in deficit in Victoria.
Difference being is the number of taxpayers in Tasmania is like,
it's
100,000 people.
It's one of the poorest states, yeah.
Yeah. Which one's promising the fountain?
That was the Liberals.
That's the Liberals are promising the chocolate fountain. The Liberals are promising the world's fucking largest spiral chocolate fountain.
If you can't win with a fucking $12 million chocolate fountain, bro, like, that's on you.
Like, yeah, you honestly don't belong in government.
You don't belong in politics.
Like, that is the most like free kick policy I can imagine. We're going to build a giant chocolate fountain.
Guys, we're doing a Wonka. Let's fucking go.
It was one of the most obtuse election coverages I've seen. It was just like mudslinging back and forth for like 3 hours. I was like, you guys, and the ABC, you could see, I can't remember the journalists' names, but there was, they're two pretty well-known journalists, but just in the center, just being like, trying to like, they just kept throwing to, every time it fired up, they just throw to Casey Briggs. They're like, oh, sorry, Casey Briggs has got some numbers.
Hey, Casey, can you fucking diffuse these guys with some stats? We really need everyone to calm down and just be lulled
Casey,
with the soporific effect of stats.
Yeah, call a seat. Please, dear God, call a seat.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Like, I was like, this is like, I could watch a movie. Show. Or I could sit here and watch this train wreck.
It reminds me of like In the Loop or something, like that kind of like Armando Iannucci level like political satire is just like election night gone completely fucking wrong, and the whole thing descends into chaos. Like, I could see that as a film.
You can tell that ABC coverage had a Peter Capaldi off stage going, "You stupid cunt!"
Yeah, calling someone a Nazi Julie Andrews. Yeah, I could absolutely see it.
Brilliant.
Okay, so speaking of Nazis, the Nazis won, the fascists won, and it seems like Colbert, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, is to be cancelled in 2026.
Yeah.
So you might have
not just like Colbert's leaving, like the Late Show. The program, like started by David Letterman
in 93 or something,
it's just not. Just gone.
They're doing away with it, even though the Late Show and specifically Stephen Colbert have always rated well, most often being the most highly rated program in the night show slot.
Yeah.
Like against other networks and all that sort of stuff, is regularly pulling like 2.4 million, where you compare it to like Jimmy Kimmel and others, it's like they crack 1 million, clearly far and away most of the time the most highly rated late night show. And I'm actually sad because I love Stephen Colbert. I think he's fantastic. I've watched him since like 2012 when he was doing the Colbert Report on Comedy Central, and I would buy episodes on iTunes in packs of 10.
Wow, that dates that story.
That dates the fuck out of me.
You purchased shows on iTunes.
Yeah. So they're like, it was like $16 for a pack of 10. So it worked out like $1.60 each.
Bro.
And
Did you not hear a uTorrent back? Like what? You're a fan. You were a fan. You are a fan.
I was a
and you
real
were
legitimate fan. It was just the shows were coming out so frequently. The shows were coming out so frequently that it's like to torrent each of them it was just too much effort. There was just too many of them. I had to resort to purchasing them. So the show's been cancelled. And it's all because the network, CBS is owned by Paramount. Paramount is trying to do a deal with a merger with Skydance. And that means that merger, because of the size of it and because it's a television network, is in front of the FTC. Now, Trump, as head of the government, doesn't respond well to people criticizing him. And so the fact that Colbert is one of the most prominent critics of Trump really puts CBS and therefore this merger deal into Trump's crosshairs. There was also a thing where 60 Minutes, the program, the news and current affairs program, aired an interview with Kamala Harris prior to the election. And we haven't really talked about this story much because it was kind of a bit of a sideshow. Now it's like sort of blowing up again. So they interviewed Kamala Harris. They asked her a question on Israel. She gave some like faff answer, which wasn't very good. On the promo that they cut together for the episode, they aired the first half of her answer. But in the actual interview, they kind of skipped that part of the answer and just aired the second half of her answer in the actual interview. Now, anyone who knows anything about anything with regards to editing and politics would know that this is pretty common. Like, it's not uncommon at all for, political interviews and things like that to be edited for brevity and time and all that sort of stuff. You might have a little grab for a package here that needs to be a particular amount of time, so you grab this part. Maybe that doesn't make it into the interview at all. Like, that's completely normal stuff. And 60 Minutes was the program, the network was sued by the Trump administration, and they recently settled for $16 million USD over the president's claim that CBS News deceptively edited this interview in order to...
Despite the fact that Paramount had been previously on the record calling the lawsuit without merit.
Oh, it is completely without merit. How I edit my interview...
This is bullshit. We are he's got nothing. He's
journalism,
got no leg to stand on.
First Amendment, freedom of speech. This is a court case
open
that if they took it to court would be open and shut in Paramount's favor. And they neglected to take it to court because they didn't want to piss off the Trump administration because of this Skydance deal.
They want to merge.
They want to merge. Because money. So, So essentially, Colbert announced on Thursday night that, they've been cancelled. So they're not even replacing Colbert. They're just finishing the show entirely. They're just okay, now we don't have a late show anymore. That part of our business is just finished.
Yeah. We have skipped a bit where on their first episode back, so this would have been
is the other night,
past Monday. Yeah, that Colbert came out. He had a whole bit about growing a mustache in Turkey.
Yes, called himself Mr. Stephen.
Mr. Stephen. He did a lot of dancing and did a side note. My wife and I, we enjoy Colbert, but we hate American audiences because they just hoop and holler for everything and just completely break up the timing of any kind of joke writing that they've done. And he just has to go, I'm going to dance around the stage while people cheer while I'm halfway through a punchline. Anyway, but yeah, and in that he said, and while we were on vacation, because they, it's the summer break over there in America, he's like, Paramount settled this lawsuit for $16 million, and he called it a bribe.
Well,
he was really critical of Paramount for doing all this. So, it's the double-edged thing of probably maybe I don't know if they did it straight up just to be let's appease Trump, or one of our major talents are calling us absolutely pieces of shit for bribing the president.
Everyone who's in the space, and every journalist has covered this, has said, they are settling this lawsuit in order to put $16 million in Trump's pocket in order to make sure that this merger goes through. Everyone knows what it is. And Yeah, and then 3 days after he said that, all of a sudden, he announces that
Suddenly the show's over.
All of a sudden, the show's been cancelled forever.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm sad because
pretty crazy.
I love seeing Colbert on the air, but like, I'm sure he's going to do what all of these other fucking prominent media figures in America do now when they're inevitably disappointing corporate overlords disappoint them, which is to just fucking go on Substack and just do a Katie Couric media and set up your own fucking thing and make way more money than you ever would working.
He'll do a
under the
Conan
corporate.
and
like
Conan's like retired, but then just does a podcast that's filmed and is still Mr. Funny Man. It's great. So he'll
people
definitely do something like that.
People are there for Colbert, you know what I mean? And like, he's got the millions of dollars, he's got the following, he could absolutely set something up in.
He's got the writers.
And just got the writers. Just hire your same fucking team. So, and there's no conflict of interest because the show doesn't exist anymore. So it's not like he's poaching. And it's so to my mind, it's like, okay, clearly they're contracted until whatever it is, May of 2026. Them announcing this now, Paramount.
Yeah, they have 10 months of still having to do the show.
Well,
that's an awkward time to go back to work.
10 months of doing the show, but 10 months of a now completely unaccountable Stephen Colbert who's going to be ripping on them from now until May over this choice. And what are they going to do? Fire him? They can't. Who cares? Like he's already
what are you
fired. So what are you going to do? It's a pretty dumb position that they put themselves in.
Maybe the Colbert Show's got to be the best it's ever been.
I'm keen. I'm definitely tuning it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And Trump, of course, is loving this and is quoted as saying, "I hear Kimmel's next." So you can see how he's definitely like, even if we take the really charitable look at this and say, oh, it wasn't a bribe and like this wasn't part of a deal to appease the president, he's certainly implying that it is. And that, hey, if you want to appease me, fire these late show guys who make fun of me.
And I would not put it past Trump to go, oh, thanks for the $16 million. Thanks for firing one of my top critics who criticized the deal. I'm not going to let the merger go through anyway. Go fuck yourself. Like, what are they going to do? Yeah. Like, I would not put it past Trump to just, tell him to fucking pound sand after all of this, because that's the kind of petty shithead that he is.
It would be insane if it's in the terms of the settlement that you had, like, that this bribe, not a bribe, does come with the proviso that you will allow us to merge through the thing. Here's that in writing. Definitely not a bribe. Thank you.
And let me slide this not a bribe across the table.
Oh, good. My laundry's done.
Yeah.
Pile of cash. So pretty crazy. But it's, hardly surprising. It's yet another one of the evidence of corporate interests.
I get it. Mergers and people want to make money, but it's like you obviously need to stand against this because if you don't,
George,
if you capitulate,
won't someone think of the shareholders.
I just when
someone think of the shareholders, they just canned a really high rating show. Doesn't that bring money for the shareholders? I don't know.
Not until the deal goes through.
That's true. I don't understand money as we know on this show.
Get that dividend / payout.
Yeah, neither did the owners of Paramount, as it turns out. Fucking idiots.
This was all just a sideshow this week. Yeah. This was all just a sideshow because on Thursday, Friday, the internet imploded.
Yes, I was going to say, speaking of corporate structure.
Yeah. When at a Coldplay concert where there was a kiss cam, that kiss cam accidentally caught out Andy Byron, who's the CEO, or former now CEO of Astronomer, and Astronomer's HR manager, Kristen Cabot.
Excuse me, Adam. Astronomer's chief people officer is her official title.
Apologies.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, so basically, it turns out that, these two, while working for the same company, they're also partaking in an affair, an extramarital affair.
Partaking is such a passive way, such passive voice. I'll have one affair. Thank you very much.
This tripped and fell into an affair by accident.
Yeah.
And what made this?
Dick first.
What made this was the reaction to the kiss cam more than anything. If they hadn't moved, I don't think the internet would have even blinked.
It was so amazing. You want to make something not look sus. This was a masterclass in how not to do that.
So they're at the Coldplay concert in Massachusetts. They go up on the Jumbotron And and this is what happens.
I think it's like part of the concert. Like I think they often the
Spotlight
Coldplay
particular people.
do this. Like, they spotlight people and then he like improv sings to them like based on what he's seeing. Like Chris Martin from Coldplay.
Anyway, so this is kind of a visual moment, but we're going to play it for those watching on the live stream. So this is, as it turns out, astronomer CEO Andy Byron and his mistress canoodling at this concert. An employee, yes. Canoodling at this Coldplay concert and then getting caught on the Jumbotron.
The US tech company says its chief executive has resigned after getting caught on camera embracing a female co-worker at a Coldplay concert. Astronomer said in a statement that Andy Byron had tendered his resignation and the board of directors have accepted that resignation. This clip went viral, showing a man and a woman hugging on a jumbo screen before they abruptly ducked and hid from the camera. That got a lot of people intrigued. US media identified the pair as Andy Byron, a married chief executive of Astronomer, and Kristen Cabot, the firm's chief people officer.
What a way.
It's just
very awkward. And so the look on his face is just like, oh, I just lost like $40 million. It's just like the way he ducks down out of the camera so quick as soon as he sees himself up on the Jumbotron. And they're both oh no, our lives are over. Oh no.
That's the thing. I didn't see it as a quick duck. Like they're like holding each other there, and they go up, and she goes.
The moment that he sees,
and she covers her face, and he's like, I'll duck behind the bins, and just kind of awkwardly gets out of the way while she just turns her back while the person next to them.
Incredible work.
I haven't seen it confirmed if the woman standing next to them was also someone they knew, and so therefore she knew what was going on. But the look on her face is like, oh god.
Well, and then Chris Martin from Coldplay is like, oh yeah, either what did he say? Either
they're either having an affair or very shy.
Yes, and turns out they were in fact having an affair.
Yeah, bang on the money there, Chris. And holy shit,
a man who knows something about conscious uncoupling.
Yeah, the yeah, right. Is he a Scientologist?
It's literally all I could see
consciously
on my
uncoupled.
social media feed.
He consciously uncoupled from his wife, Gwyneth Paltrow, I believe. They didn't divorce; they consciously uncoupled.
Okay, right, fair enough. Sorry, I thought that was the same as that like weird formal distancing yourself from people that Scientology does. Anyway, just the way that this developed over the few days was honestly bananas because I loved it first. Like, he's since stepped down. I don't know
from
what's
his
happened with,
tech company Astronomer.
From being the CEO, yeah. I don't know what's
he stepped down,
to,
but I think we can safely assume he was resigned from a great height.
He was placed on gardening leave prior to
that.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
the thing. So prior to that, so before, like,
both of them
we know now that he stepped down, but the initial thing, he did his reply letter, which started with the usual kind of stuff, the solemn JPEG, as it's called, with like the picture coming up of just the text, and like leading with, I'm very sorry to my wife and children. Yeah, I bet you are.
Yep.
And all that sort of stuff. Like, I'm going to take time to reflect, etc., etc. But then he was like, it's really messed up that you film people at concerts.
No, buddy.
And like,
stick to the PR statement.
Made this whole thing public.
Stick to the statement.
Sort of stuff. I'm like, having your affair outside of like a hotel room somewhere. Is you having your affair publicly, not the fact that they're filming shit at a Coldplay gig. Like, don't take your mistress to a big public televised location.
Tom, in all fairness, if you had your net wealth halve in about 3 seconds, I think you'd be pretty pissed off about it too.
Yeah, but it's all his fault.
It's all his fault. Yeah, it's 100% his fault. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you don't gotta. That's the thing with this. You just gotta let the PR firm handle the apology. I unreservedly apologize for XY thing. I definitely did. I was in the wrong. I've lived. I've learned. I've listened. I've acted. And, I unreservedly apologize. I need to take responsibility. And I need to take a step back. Found Jesus. Love Jesus. How good is Jesus? I need to take a step back and spend some more time with my family. And I'm just hearing they want nothing to do with me. So... thank you very much. I'm very sorry, and I'm extremely sorry, and I'm a piece of shit. And please, can Trump do something else crazy so we can move off this story. That is kind of that's the thing. That's you need to go with a complete mea culpa, full, fucking seppuku, prostrate yourself in front of the masses. That's the only way. You can't go.
That or
but also,
I've checked into rehab or something.
Yeah, I've checked into rehab. I need to address these issues, my substance abuse problem. I found Jesus. Or I lost Jesus. I don't know, either one. But you can't go, but while we're on the topic.
Yeah, while we're on the topic,
you can't, in any sentence that starts like that in an apology needs to be stricken from the fucking record. The PR firm was just looking at it going, he was going so well. Yeah, Andy, you were going so well.
It's also just crazy. She's the head of HR.
That's why it's funny, right? That's why the news is blown up about it.
You are the chief. Don't do that, person. Like, fuck.
The thing that I found about this whole thing was that I went through a couple of phases. One, I was like, oh wow, okay, that's interesting.
Anger,
then it was
bargaining.
Yeah. And then it was, oh, look, the content for this is the content that people are creating is so good. Look how creative
the memes are drowning out the Epstein list.
The memes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. I was scrolling through it, it was just meme after reel after meme after reel after whatever.
All of these
every
people,
different angle.
Every time people get caught on the jumbotrons now at like different stadiums around the world are acting like these two. Like one of them's ducking out of the way and the other one's like turning around. Like everyone understands the assignment. It's amazing.
Yeah, and this is where Phillies mascots, the big green hairy,
the Philly phenomenon or whatever, the Philly.
Yeah, like Oscar the Grouch.
It's like a monster looking thing. Yeah,
doing it. Yeah, it's great.
And this is where I got into the third act of this content mill, where it just got everyone like there's the original stuff, and then it just got really banal. And everyone started copying each other because then all of a sudden, all of the AFL teams mascots are now we're doing it this weekend. And like you've got AI slop like merging bits of the video into other stuff. And it got so in the cycle of 24 hours, it went from being like a news story to like funny
this is
content
funny.
to
We've
being
got content and now I can't fucking stand it and I want to kill myself.
Dross. Yes, exactly. Yeah. I've literally done a 180 and I've horseshoed myself.
Adam, it used to take our grandparents like a decade for that to happen. You know what I mean? Like my grandfather was like,
it was 24 hours.
Man, this Second World War is like interesting. And then like 5 years later, go, this Hitler's really bad news. And then like 10 years later, they're like, oh man, I'm really over this. That happened for us in a morning. You know what I mean? Like in terms of the curvature of fucking space-time that's occurred because of social media. It's like bending light and time.
I think it seems the line is that as soon as it impacts Adam's enjoyment of footy, he's done. Like it's snuck its way into AFL and up with this I will not put. Like,
There is nothing sacred, Tom. What happened to that stadium? I need to know.
But you can see the marketing departments of every single AFL team being like, we need some content, bro. We need to jump on this bandwagon right now while it's hot, bro. While it's so hot, let's get our two mascots to look like they're cuddling.
All right, I'm glad we've assembled the entire club. Who's got a side piece?
Be honest.
Who's got a side piece? Be honest.
Everyone puts their hand up.
Yeah, we need you for a reel, and we need them as well.
Just just incredible. I love that everyone's jumping in with both feet on this. Like I do. I love seeing the memes. Like, and as much as you can embarrass a couple that's committing infidelity and hurting other people.
I mean, I feel awful for their spouses.
Yes, but isn't it better that they
know?
Yeah, isn't it better that they know?
Yeah, because not knowing that that's happening.
You're going to a concert together in public. You're openly cuddling and canoodling. Like, what if you just ran into a friend or something? Like clearly you're exercising no discretion. You're trying to get caught at that point. So it's like, I don't know. It's pieces of shit. And seems like literally everyone on the internet agrees with us. So that's nice. On that happy note, we have been, and we always will be Unnatural Selection. Make sure you visit us at our salubrious home on the web, unnaturalshow.com. Make sure you follow us on all the bullshit social medias that are ruining the world, that have, do, or ever will exist, at our handle at Unnatural Show. That's on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and mother flipping TikTok. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads at George Tsipos.
You can follow me on Threads at tom.heath.
You can follow me down to the state election in Tasmania, where I'll be just hanging out in that tally room, just getting ready for the next election, which will be next week.
Just getting Casey Briggs all warmed up.
Yeah,
Continuing that spicy panel.
It's got to keep going, and like they've had one election. Let's have another one, because they're not going to have a clear leader. So
they're not even putting Erica Betts back in stasis. They're just leaving him awake this time. So. Thanks for listening, guys. Love your faces. We'll see you next week.